Hello, Brad here, just to say we're super proud that the Friday 5pm podcast is sponsored by the Malt Miller, the UK's best home brew store.
We use the Malt Miller for all of our homebrew experiments, as well as tapping them up for advice and binging on their awesome YouTube channel all the time.
That's why whenever we release a homebrew video, we put a recipe kit live on the Malt Miller, so you can brew with the exact same amazing ingredients that we did. The same ingredients used by pro brewers.
So alongside the Malt Miller's nitro-flushed hops, cold-stored yeast and milled-to-order malts, you can pick up recipe kits for our 5 Points Best Bitter, Russian River West Coast IPA, and now the fastest beer in the world, a hazy session IPA that goes from grain to glass in less than 48 hours.
Sign up to their newsletter at tinyurl.com/Malt Miller to get 5% off your first order. With the Malt Miller's amazing customer service and Johnny's 48-hour recipe, you could order the ingredients on a Monday and be drinking the beer by the weekend.
Speaking of which, it's Friday.
It's 5pm.
So enjoy this week's Friday 5pm podcast. It's Friday, it's 5pm, which means the end of an incredibly busy week for the Craft Beer Channel boys. I hate that word was used right at the start of the Craft Beer Channel and we just can't shake it. But we are the Craft Beer Boys and we've had a busy week. How are you, Bradley?
I'm all right. Yeah, it's been a busy week, but yeah, not too bad. We've did a live show last week, Johnny. We've got a live show next week, so very much busy in the live arena. Yeah,
well, I mean, I love doing the live shows. I didn't realise how much I missed them until we did. Well, the Christmas show was great, but doing the Verdant one last week was amazing. But we'll get into that. We should start off right up top at the front of the podcast by saying that we do have another live show next week.
We do.
It is on Thursday, the 9th of March at 7:30pm, a little bit later for you. And it is an International Women's Day special.
Nice.
So we have some delicious beers from female-owned or female-brewed breweries, including we've got Cloudwater, we've got Wildcard, we've got Elusive, who have done a collab with Malt Miller, we've got Double Barreled, who are just down the road, and then we've got Brew York, who we did our Christmas live show with. So we've got 5 delicious beers from 5 amazing breweries, and we will have some very special guests. Hopefully Brad and I can take a back seat and not do an International Women's Day show where it's me and Brad just mostly talking. Yeah.
Good.
So we haven't 100% confirmed the guests, but I promise you they are going to be absolute top draw, fascinating people. We've got a certain home brewer, hopefully, from YouTube. We've got, I would say, the most famous brewer in the UK.
Ooh.
I think that's probably fair due to her work with Radio 4. And an amazing writer who writes about beer and, well, alcohol, I guess, and inclusivity. So it's shaping up really nicely, and we will be able to confirm those soon. And if you want to buy the Taste Along box with those 5 beers, there's a link in the descriptions box. We are not taking any profit from this show. All with the £2 of every box is going straight to a women's charity. An official one of International Women's Day, and we'll choose which one that is on the live stream. They have a couple of charities, so we'll leave that up to you at home. Is that all the plugging? Is that the plug? I think I plugged it.
You've plugged that hard. You wanted to talk about another interview you've done this week?
Oh, yes. So, I'm not quite sure when it's going live, but on Tuesday night at a very late hour, I recorded with Beer Brackets, which is another beer channel, one that lovingly sort of started during lockdown. Just 2 friends who lived a long way apart and couldn't see each other anymore. They started geeking out over Zoom calls and decided to start filming it. So they do sort of long-form reviews and chat shows, and they've had some really interesting people do interviews with them, as well as myself. So they, more interestingly than me, particularly, they had the head brewer over at Schlenkerla a couple of weeks back.
Ooh. Nice.
And had a good chat with him. So I'm not sure when that's going live, but when it does go live, we'll stick it in our Patreon forum and on social and those bits. We talked about lots of things, in particular like running a YouTube channel. Talked a lot about independent content and how we sort of balance that with some of the sponsorships that we've taken. I feel like I should clarify. I say some things about Heineken that I have since learned are a bit unfair. I'm not one to defend Heineken, but essentially I just found out that Heineken had recently launched a brand new stout in Russia, having said they were exiting Russia, which on the face of it, is absolutely horrendous, particularly because Guinness had pulled out, because they have morals. And it felt like Heineken was stepping in to take that space. A couple of things that I then researched as I looked further into this is that Heineken were indeed the licensee of the Guinness brand in Russia, so it was them that pulled it out along with Guinness. And secondly, Heineken have ring-fenced their Russian operations, so they're not taking any profit from it, they're not putting any investment in, and the reason they're doing that is because they employ lots and lots of people over there and they can't just lose their jobs overnight, but B, it's actually illegal as a foreign company in Russia to go bankrupt. Like, it would possibly put people in jail if they went under. So they're basically trying to wind down the business, which is taking some time. So I'm not saying that gets Heineken off the hook. I'm saying we should all keep a close eye on it. But the the story I tell on Beer Brackets is wildly different to that. So I apologise. Otherwise, it's all, just fact after fact after fact from me. As always, never never knowingly wrong.
Hard facts. Hard facts in.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, let's talk about our Verdant live show. How long did it take you to recover?
Oh, I didn't manage to get a word in edgeway throughout the whole show, so I just talked to myself for about an hour afterwards, just so I could get some words out.
Oh, you just sort of sat on your sofa just talking to yourself?
Yeah. Just getting everything out between,
triple putty
I couldn't get a word in with you and your buddies there. I mean, you did used to work with them, so it's fair enough. You had a lot of catching up to do. But I did notice someone had said, "Does Brad say anything ever?" Which hurt. That hurt me.
I'll take the blame for that one. Shouldn't
made
be
me made me retract even more. But I can't remember who that commenter was. But fuck you, buddy. I do say stuff just when I get I won't jump over people when they're saying something good. So unless I feel like I've got something better to say or something funnier to say, then I let the flow.
That's what being a good interviewer is, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I could say I was interviewing anyone though. I didn't really say very much, but I mean it was great. The beers were fantastic, company was fantastic. They've got a cathedral to beer there. The sort of stainless steel. What could you call it? Yeah, like cathedral, I guess, is incredible, right? They've got such an amazing brew house. Just blown away by it. I've never been there, so. It's on my list for sure.
I really enjoyed. There was a comment from somebody saying, "I'm just amazed they managed to get all that plumbed in on Cornish time," which is a phenomenon where things in Cornwall take a lot longer, and it's very true. Having spent a lot of time in Cornwall, it's very true. But they, I mean, Verdant have pulled off some incredible feats in their time, and one of them is getting that brewery working. The tap room took a lot longer to put together, but it looked. I've not been there since the tap room opened, so I'm dead excited to go back down, and hopefully we will be going down for the collaboration that we hinted at for our 10th birthday celebrations, which I need to do something about. So that's a little reminder to me to get moving on that. So it was a really great show. I think James and I go well back, and we have very similar philosophies on beer and on particular IPA. So we went off on one on multiple occasions. So apologies for talking over you there, Bradders.
That's quite right.
All I can say is that the person who said that should listen to our podcast and see the opposite happen.
Well, yeah, exactly. I can derail a conversation when I want to.
Yeah.
That tap room looked absolutely sick. I clocked they had a Gosney pizza oven that was banging out amazing looking pizzas.
Yep.
And they had a guy on decks, like proper decks. It was they had, it was like a proper DJ.
Yeah, they run a lot of DJ nights there. Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool. So it looked like it had a great vibe. I can't remember the last time I've seen an actual DJ in a tap room. I mean, I have. Don't get me wrong, I have seen them. I just can't remember the last time I've seen them.
We're not going to the right tap rooms, clearly.
I know. That's quite a party vibe. I was impressed by that. It kind of took my breath away when I saw that. That was a Friday night, wasn't it? So that makes sense. It wasn't like
but it wasn't even late on a Friday.
No, it wasn't late. It wasn't late.
It was
People
about
8:30. Tucking into pizzas, and there was David Guetta up there throwing his hands up in the air with some sort of lasers and shit going off. It looked great. Yeah. Is that how you say Guetta? I don't know. No Re-Guettas. That is a beer. Come on, that's a beer title. When we collab with David Guetta, We're gonna make no Guettas. No Re-Guettas. Yeah, I love it. Wow.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Talking of verdant beers, mate. I just have to say my beer of the week, and technically it's sort of scooching in from the tail end of last week, is Rustling Substances, which we did drink on the live show. It's their pale ale. It's a pale ale. It's got Citra Motueka in it, and I think it tastes way better than it has any right. Not better, sorry, that's the wrong word. Bigger than it has any right to. It's absolutely punches above its weight. It's like a 5% pale ale, but it was absolute juice bomb. I absolutely loved it. I mean, we drank amazing beers all night. Shark's obviously great. Triple Putty, I mean, unbelievable. But like the little guy, the Rustling Substances, I have to say, quite a boring label compared to all the other labels. It's sort of lots of little triangles in different various shades of green, which is the sort of least verdant looking verdant can design I think I've seen. But it tasted awesome, and I would happily session that. I just thought it was brilliant. I'm going to buy some more, Johnny.
The Motueka was really singing. It was really limey, really lemony. It was proper. Yeah. Like even James was surprised because he hadn't had it yet. The can was about a month old, and he just hadn't got around to tasting it from can. And he was blown away by how Motueka-y it was. It was stunning. And I went out and bought some more that weekend. Yeah, because right. I'm always trying to reduce the ABVs of the beers I'm drinking. And also, my stash of beer is huge, but I drink all of the lagers, pales, like smaller porters and stuff like that. So I'm just left with imperial stouts, big old fruit sours, mixed firm beer. So I'm always topping up the fridge with a sixer of something that's sessionable and excited me. And yeah, I bought a load more Rustling Substances. Although actually, Rustling Substance, I think. My favourite on the night actually though was Sharks. Even Sharks Need Water, which is my favourite verdant beer anyway. But it was tasting absolutely phenomenal, and I love the use of Galaxy in New England IPAs because there's no real way to tame Galaxy. You will get some slightly gnarly, exciting bitterness out of it, and I think New England IPA always needs... Pretty much every New England IPA I've ever drunk has been nice but needed more bitterness, whereas Galaxy means that Sharks is perfect. Reminds me a little bit of like Focal Banger and stuff like that, while adding the verdant, apricot-y, yeasty goodness.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and it was tasting beautiful. I'm trying to think. Did I drink Sharks at the Bigfoot Festival, or did they run out of Sharks? I think they might have run out of Sharks almost immediately. Yeah,
they sold out of some beers on the first day, didn't they? Yeah, it might have been Sharks.
I really enjoyed their stand with their sound system at Bigfoot.
Yeah, there you go. Had DJs there.
They love a party, don't they? They were playing some like drum and bass music. I had a little dance. I think it might have did it make it into a video, or maybe it didn't make it into a video.
It was in there somewhere, the little social video that we did. I mean that all comes through. So Adam, we talked about it on stream, but Adam, who's the other co-founder, he's very into music, very into art, very into literature. He's an incredibly creative human, and he's sort of responsible for all of that kind of vibe that Verdant has, which I think is a vital part of their whole personality, really. The can designs, lots of them are very iconic. And he ensures that there's always music. And their West Coast IPA out this week is a collaboration with an author and stuff like that. So it's always something that they're trying to do. Although actually, so Verdant aren't my beer of the week, funnily enough. Ooh. So I'm trying to get a little new ritual. I get stuck in the studio for too long of the day, and so I've started trying to create a little ritual. Where on a Wednesday, about 2-3 p.m., I go down to the beer shop, my local, and have a beer and watch the video get released and reply to the comments and sort of celebrate. Weirdly, Wednesday is like the end of my week kind of thing. I don't work on Fridays anymore, so it's like my Thursday night, and Thursday's the new Friday. So I have a beer, celebrate the fact the video's out. And I drank, this time, a pint of Dest from Beak.
Nice.
Which...
Haven't had that in a while.
I think they still classify as a Czech Pilsner. It's not a Czech Pilsner, really. I think it's German hopped even, but it is an absolutely delicious beer. It was like slightly sulfury, brioche, soft bitterness, and loads of honey and glorious sweetness. And it was just one of the most crushable things I've ever drunk. Maybe I was just really thirsty, but it was just absolutely beautiful. And I took a lovely photo, which I'll put on Instagram at some point because it looked stunning as well. It's a really beautiful beer from a brewery that I think only makes one lager. You know, it's quite remarkable that they've made it so good when it's their only one.
Beautiful.
So yeah, track down Re-Guettas or Rustling Substance if you can. Should we talk about the video?
Yeah, man.
So this is a lager video. It could have been a segue if I'd thought about it quick enough. But this week we were visiting the amazing Giesinger Brewery, which is a great brewery in central Munich. Just to the north of Munich in the suburbs is the actual brewery, and then they have a brew pub pretty central. And yeah, we were talking to them about, I guess, you know, is it their main aim? He tried to deny it, but it definitely is that they want to pour at Oktoberfest.
I mean, it is kind of their main aim, but also they don't care, Johnny, but they do really, really care.
Yeah, they care enough to spend £1 million on a well and to buy a filtration machine just to filter one of their beers. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty important to them. And so the video is essentially the story, both of the brewery, but also of the steps they've had to take to get close to that goal. So they haven't managed it yet. They've been trying since 2018. And on the wall of the brewery, they have like the years crossed off as they failed to do it. And it's all led by this incredible character, Stefan, who, sadly, there was a bit of a language barrier there, and I wish I could have spoken German to really get to grips with what he was saying and really dig deep. But it's still a fascinating interview with a guy who, he's not from Munich, and I think you thought that was important, didn't you, Brad?
Yeah, is he from the east of Germany or something? He's from like quite far away, right?
Yeah, I can't quite remember. It might have been like West Germany, maybe. Like Rhine area, maybe.
Yeah, so he's like not from that kind of culture at all. Maybe even the Bavarian culture at all. So he's got a sort of outsider's fringe kind of perspective, I think, on, you know, what a Munich brewery can be. I think, I feel like that kind of outsider thing, he's kind of not scared by the tradition in a way, because
I think
it isn't his tradition.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So he's like, you know, I think his mind is a bit more open than maybe a lot of people who would just be terrified about the prospects of starting something up in a town which is essentially kind of it's kind of how would you sort of politely say it? It's pretty sewn up. Like there's the 6 breweries, and that is Munich. So it's like you don't really identify anything else with Munich apart from those breweries. So
well, yeah, I think Oktoberfest is a defining thing, and it is entirely sewn up by those big 6. And I think, you know, we even had a comment actually on the video from somebody who said, you know, it's cool that they're doing this, but it's never going to happen. And they reference König Ludwig Brewery, who we had in the video before, saying, you know, they're a family with billions of pounds. They started Oktoberfest. They have all this political sway, and even they can't do it. And I think that shows, you know, most people would look at that and go, oh, well, then it's impossible. But Stefan comes in and goes, well, what are the rules? You know, let's tick these boxes as we go. And, you know, we don't know whether it's going to pan out, but I think, yeah, you're right. A lot of breweries would just be like, we'll just leave Oktoberfest to the big 6. An interesting thing that Stefan also said towards the end of the video is, quite rightly, he says, you know, we don't know how long those 6 breweries are going to last, because 4 of them are owned by global macro breweries, and at least one of them, Spaten, isn't really being looked after or focused. It's just an Oktoberfest brand, really, with a couple of restaurants attached to it. So, you know, tragically, we don't really know how long Spaten's going to last. If one of those breweries goes down, is that an opportunity for another brewery, or would the other big 6, you know, or the other big 5 sort of swoop in and take up that volume? You know, it does feel like there's an opportunity, and I think that Giesinger probably know it's going to take a while, but they want to be there with all the boxes ticked, ready for that moment.
Definitely. He's like an anarchic kooky seeming character, but I think he's actually he's sort of like, he kind of puts you off guard with his kind of like mannerisms, and that he's sort of quite out there. You know, the guy was wearing sort of almost
Knitted
like pajama
slippers.
bottoms and knitted slippers and like kind of kooky stuff. Bright, crazy shirt. Open a bottle of beer with a bit of paper, which was a great trick. But really, I think he is like super focused, super considered, and he's spotted this opportunity, once in a century opportunity, Johnny, that he can potentially strike and get in there in Oktoberfest. I think they've got a real shot at it. Like you say, if Spartan goes down, because it's essentially now just a sort of shell brand or whatever for like it isn't a kind of going concern as such as the other ones, then there is a real moment where he has seen the opportunity. He's got all the groundwork, all of the legislation, all of the rules. He's jumped through all of the hoops, and he's in a key position where he can just step right in and go, yep, we're ready to go, which is brilliant. I got to admire that. The long-term thinking was brilliant. And I don't know whether it came across on camera because of the language barrier with him, but he was like a super interesting guy. We had a great time. They were very hospitable to us. So
what about the comments, Bradis? What did you enjoy in the comments section?
Yeah, so there was the one you sort of briefly touched upon was from Piers McGuigan.
Piers McGuigan. Good name.
Piers McGuigan. Oh, Piers McGuinn. Yeah, sorry.
McGuinn.
He was talking about Prince Leopold, who owns Koenig Brewery, and he reckons that family, the royal family, have been trying to get back into Oktoberfest for 50 years. He sort of threw out a wild claim they might have up to 3 billion euros worth of assets between them, and that they own sort of vast swathes of property in that region. So he was kind of saying that if they can't do it, nobody can. But they're not actually in Munich, are they? Their brewery isn't in Munich, so that's
no, they're not in Munich, and they don't draw their water from the well.
No.
They do, I guess, have a filtered. Well, they couldn't call it a Münchner Hell because it's not made in Munich. So although the beer itself could be in Münchner Hell, it's not from Munich. So they don't fit any of the rules. Who drew up the rules is a question I wish I'd asked the Prince when we were there, because essentially the story goes, as we say in the video, that the Big Six funded Oktoberfest after the Second World War. So did they write the rules, or did they kind of justify it later? Where did these rules come from is something I really wish I knew. So I'm gonna look that up, or if somebody knows, do drop us a message.
Yeah, we had another comment from Sean Carney, which I just read as Sean Connery. But Sean Carney, he said, well, that's a bloody expensive well. Best of luck to them. Have to admire their dedication. I find these videos very dehydrating. It was great, wasn't it? The beers were amazing. Like, as soon as Stefan popped out and sort of got involved, we waited a little while for him to sort of come over for the main interview. And, we set up these 2 cameras like we do, got all the shot lined up, and then he's like, oh, no, don't do that. And he's like straight over to the barrels and like manically sort of lifting a barrel and just, like a bear, just like rolling it over to
a bear at a picnic.
Trying to get the honey out of a barrel or something at a picnic. It's like mental sort of behavior. Amazing. Just drinking straight from a barrel, essentially. And just totally derailed all of our sort of camera setup, which was hilarious and brilliant. But I've totally lost my train of thought. What was my train of thought there, Johnny? Don't know. Just that I was a bit in awe of the man a little bit. I thought it was very fun.
I just want to pick up on, so we've got a well joke there. Well.
Yeah.
That's not the best gag in the comment section this week.
Go on.
I don't know if you saw Capu's comment, who talks about the crowdfunding, which the brewery did. He says, in this case, it would have been kraut funding.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah. Oof.
He then clarifies he is German, so the joke's on him. It's an excellent pun. I replied, it deserves more. So go give it a like. So my comment comes from one of our top commenters and the guy who we had a beer with beforehand. The night before, Mr. Rougelot. Because he poses a question. So I'm gonna see if you can answer this question. Says there's two things I love from Giesinger. One is the Münchner Hell, for my money, the best Munich Hellers, and the other is their perseverance and relentlessness. Instead of going for the styles that newer guys are brewing, they're focused on more traditional styles. And how many modern breweries dare doing that and actually deliver on par products? I can think of Notch and Giesinger, but few others. Can you think of a brewery that's gone for like an old school style and absolutely smashed it?
I was gonna say Boxcar with their dark mild, but that wasn't really that traditional, was it?
It's pretty traditional. It's not a bad shout.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty close to the milds I've drunk today, but I don't know how many of those milds have historic, have like a legacy that we'd know that that's how it once was.
No, true. I saw Boxcar had to close their tap room last week permanently.
Yeah,
so the landlord kicked him out.
Yeah, I messaged Sam, the founder, and I think it's a rent dispute. So
right.
Hopefully, there's nothing wrong with the business. The business is viable. Well, whether it is with that taproom, I don't know. But they are searching for new premises, and I think they're going to have to contract brew for a bit to fill the gap. So, yeah, I mean, terrible news for Boxcar. So, if you see a Boxcar beer, buy it, support them because they'll need help right now. Yeah. And actually, I picked a beer of theirs. It was the double mild for the beer brackets thing, with that exact thing in mind. Like, let's get the name Boxcar out there because they're going to need a lot of help over the next few months.
Yeah, man, the double mild is beautiful.
It was,
beautiful
it was
beer.
really, really good. So we've got Notch, got Giesinger. Yeah, I think we've probably got Boxcar. I think there's quite a few lager breweries in the States that might be able to claim that they've sort of nailed the originals. A couple up in New England. There's a real lager scene there. I think 5 Points with their best bitter. If anything, their best bitter is more traditional than traditional bitters elsewhere on the bar.
True.
But of course, that's not their main focus. It's not their main beer. It's just sort of a passion project, really, that's got a bit out of control because it's proved so popular. So yeah, I mean, it is a big thing for a brewery to really focus on one traditional style and go for it, one deeply untrendy style. And there's not that many, but I think we should support the breweries that go for that because, culture and preserving craft beer culture isn't just about increasing the prevalence of modern styles. We also need to be supporting those that go for the historic ones so that we can keep telling these stories and innovation often comes from the past anyway. You got to look backwards to go forward sometimes.
Exactly.
So yeah, thank you for that comment. Thanks for all of the comments on the videos. Again, this was not a widely watched one, but the interaction in the comments is glorious. So many interested people, so many people. I mean, it's definitely worth going to Munich. It's a wonderful beer scene. It's got a wonderful history. There's so much you can do. We didn't go to the Oktoberfest Museum this time. We ran out of time, but it is an amazing place as well, and you can have a beer at the end of it. So Munich, as a lager lover, is a great place to go, and Giesinger should be on your list. Right, is there anything to add this week? I think that was a pretty succinct episode, wasn't it?
I mean, I didn't get to derail us once, which I'm actually quite sad about. But yeah, I think we're done. No derailments.
None
Shit,
at all.
What's happened? The format's fallen apart now because I haven't derailed it.
I like that the format is derailments. Maybe you're coming from a cold start because last week on the live stream you were a bit quiet and you've lost your flow, and we're gonna work on it. Maybe you'll find it in the next live show.
I've got some personal things at the moment, as you know, Johnny, which it's not public thing, but I'm having some small life crises right now, which just taking a toll on me, my kind of mental capacity. But I'm working through some stuff, and I'm hoping to be, back on 100% real soon. But yeah, I guess I haven't got any good anecdotes this week. I wore my pair of Giesinger socks the other day. I still haven't worn my pants. Have you worn? So Stefan tried to give us the most amount of merch I think that anyone has ever tried to give us anywhere, and we had to like politely turn down. Well, I think you took a hoodie, right? I didn't have any room because I had a stupidly small bag, but like,
I took a hoodie for my wife and a t-shirt for me and some socks. To be fair,
yeah.
I haven't
The
worn
socks
the
are
socks
nice,
yet.
man.
They're good socks, are they?
Good.
Right.
Yeah.
You took the pants though, right? Or the
I
boxers?
got the pants as well. Yeah, Stefan showed me his pants, which was weird, but then
He showed everyone his pants.
Saying,
he showed them in the video.
He did.
Loves his pants.
Yeah. So they're like, instead of saying Calvin Klein, they say Giesinger Frau. So I was like, well, I'd like a pair of those, please. And I also took a wooden meter long ruler that like folds out. And I kind of want to do a video of the most awesomely weird beer merchandise from breweries around the world. And I'm working on my stockpile of stuff at the moment. So the ruler is going in there. I've got a few other weird bits, but I'm always on the lookout for weird and wonderful brewery merch. So
I'll have to have a dig through the nonsense. Yeah. If you know, we need to go round Belgian breweries. They are the kings of terrible tacky merch.
Well, I don't necessarily want terrible tacky. I've almost got like an incredible summer outfit at the moment of beer merch stuff now. Just layers of different things, which I won't divulge what I've got. But I was really pissed off, Johnny. Just derailing slightly. I went to a boot sale at the weekend, and I saw a guy that was selling Palace Skateboards collaboration umbrella with Stella Artois. So they took over. God. Yeah, they took over last year. Palace Skateboards and Stella took over the Blue Post in Soho, which is a pub I love. I mean, the beer's not great. I just drink Guinness when I go in there, but it's a real old Soho haunt, and I love it. On Berwick Street, that one, not the other Blue Post.
Yeah.
And they changed all of the signage for the pub outside. They changed the bar towels on the bar. All of the pumps had this Palace branding on them. And the staff had like Palace Skateboards, Stella, Palace Artois t-shirts. And you could buy these fucking umbrellas. You could buy cool boxes. You could buy like varsity jackets with like all embroidered stuff on the back. They were bloody awesome, like super expensive. So I didn't get anything, and I didn't even manage to nick a bar mat because for some reason I couldn't get there, and I missed out. It was only on for like a weekend. But I saw a guy at the boot sale selling the umbrella. Just as he just went over to it, and I said, "How much have you got on the umbrella, mate?" And he was like, "I've literally just sold it." So that broke my heart this weekend, and I had proper sort of brute sale regretty. Yeah, it was real upsetting, Johnny. It was such a beautiful umbrella. I mean, Stella is piss, obviously. Like I don't drink Stella, but
hey, it came second in the blind macro tasting. So
did it come second?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. All right. I take it back. Stella's not piss.
I mean, it's still terrible. Comparatively,
yeah.
You know, there wasn't a good beer in that lineup. They were all just serviceable.
Yeah. It was just a sick umbrella. I was like, I need that umbrella in my life, and then some other fucker bought it. So
well, then we'll put out the call. Brad. Brad is in need of Stella, collab, Palace, any kind of merch, but it seems like the umbrella is what he really wants. If somebody's got a bar towel, I wouldn't mind that for the Brudio.
Yeah,
but yeah, so if you see one around, there will be many rewards for the finding of said umbrella.
There's a YouTuber, Johnny, who I like called Zach Alsop, who is like a bit of a joker and does all like quite stunty kind of YouTube stuff. Used to be called the Zach and Jay Show, but Jay has gone to live in Mexico and he's stopped being a YouTuber. But Zach's sister makes clothing out of beer towels, which are amazing. So I've tried to get her to send me a pair of shorts before because they're like 150 quid. But she wasn't up for sending me a free pair. But she made him a pair of Stella Palace Artois shorts in the bar towels, and they looked amazing.
If you can get the right brands, I'm willing for Craft Beer Channel to pay for a pair for you.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's a good offer.
I don't know what the right brands are.
I've seen a waistcoat made out of beer towels before, which is a thing people used to do apparently.
Was that on the Didola? Because the guy that owns Didola, Chris, does that with old school British bitters.
Does he? No, I've got a friend who's a vintage clothing trader, and he had one hanging in his shop on Brick Lane. His name's Ben. Hang Up Vintage, and he wouldn't sell it to me or give it to me, and it really upset me.
Why wouldn't he sell it to you?
Because he was like, "It's too good. I'm not selling it. It's fucking
Wow.
brilliant." And I designed all of his shop front and his logo and everything for him for free, and he gave me some stuff, like bits and bobs. I collect badges. So I've got like a collection of old sort of political badges and anti-war badges and all kinds of stuff. And he gave me some real good ones. But he wouldn't give me that, which is well jammy, I thought. But I'm on the lookout for a beer towel waistcoat as well, if anyone's got one kicking about. Size large/extra large, please.
This has all got a little bit bargain hunt
derailment
for my tastes, but I'll back it. I'll back it for one episode. Anything else you want out there?
No, I think I'm all good. Yeah, just weird and wacky merch from breweries. The cooler the better. Right? Omnipolo do amazing stuff, obviously, but like I just want to get real out there stuff and make a video about it.
What I really want is there's a Belgian bar in Covent Garden, which we've been to many times.
We're not naming it. Lowlander, yeah.
And in the small window by the bar, they have an Arabeer, which is like my favourite beer in the world. An Arabeer sign, a light box.
A light box. We could make you one of those if you want one of those.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
My God.
We need to buy a light box, but then just get a acetate or a vinyl printed. Stick it right on there, mate.
But I kind of want that
the
one.
real one.
Yeah.
You want that one?
Yeah.
Ain't gonna give you it, mate. Ain't gonna give you it.
Oh, I think I asked him
once. That's a cool bit of merch.
And he was like, if we ever close down, I'll see if I can get it to you. But
Nice.
obviously he doesn't want to close down, so...
No.
Yeah.
He's not motivated to close down, is he, Johnny?
No,
So...
not hugely.
No.
But yeah, so
Brilliant.
one of those as well, please, to add to the list.
Great.
Right, we're going to stop begging off the internet. We're going to finish this podcast. We're going to prepare for next week's live show, 9th of March. You can buy the box at a link below. £2 goes to charity. And we'll be speaking to some absolutely wonderful women from the beer industry for a couple of hours. And yeah, that's all we have to say. Oh, go on.
No, I was going to say that is instead of our weekly upload next week, isn't it?
That is instead of our weekly upload. Yes, that is a little change we've made. So, we promised to do more live shows, and we're coming good on that by doing 2 in a fortnight. But we're gonna not do an upload next week on any week where there's a live show, unless it's a very special occasion. So no upload next week, but on Thursday we will have our live show. So yeah, please do join us there. And make sure you watch this week's video. Until then, love and beer. The Bubble and Friday 5pm podcasts are brought to you by the nerds behind YouTube's craft beer channel. You can watch over 400 mini documentaries at youtube.com/the craft beer channel. And if you love what we do, support us via Patreon and get access to merchandise and our amazing Discord forum, a positive and welcoming space for everyone who loves beer, food and homebrewing. Love and beer.